Okay, hello and welcome to today's class for GE 103 Introduction to Computing and Data Structures. The topic for today's class is, as you can see on slide number 1, stack as a linked list. Okay, so if you recall, in one of the earlier lectures, we had discussed how we can implement a stack, and the problem that we had looked at there was evaluating expressions using the reverse Polish notation. So using that, we had a limited number of operations, plus, minus, multiplication, division, in which both the operators and operands were supplied from the command line, right? And we saw that we can use a stack, to perform all the calculations. So the idea there was, if we encounter an operand, the numbers, we push them onto the stack, and then every time we encounter an operator, we pop two elements from the stack, perform the required operation, plus, minus, or whatever, and then push the result back onto the stack. So we keep on performing this, scanning for operators and operands, doing the pushes and pops, and then finally what we have at the end, that is our result. Okay. So one thing, if you note about that program, is the stack was static. It was as a static array. So in this case, we will learn how to implement a stack as a dynamic data structure. In other words, implementing stack as a linked list. Okay, so now I am on slide number 2, title of which is stack as a linked list. So previously we have discussed the stack data structure. We know that it is designed in such a way that all the stack operations, so the major stack operations, take place on the top element. So which means that whenever we want to add an element, we add it at the top, and whenever we want to remove an element, we remove it from the top. So which means, in other words, one of the ends of the stack is sealed. Okay. So this is in contrast to a queue. Excuse me. So this is in contrast to a queue. What happens in a queue is we add elements at the back and remove them from the front. Okay. So both ends are open there. For a stack, one end is closed, and both the push and pop operations take place at the other end, which is the top. Okay. So in that previous example, the reverse Polish calculator, the stack was implemented as an array of 100 elements. Okay. So each element could be an integer. So a problem with that is that is not very flexible. So we don't really know, how many elements we are going to be storing in the stack. It could be less than 100 or it could be more than 100. If the number of elements that we will store is less than 100, then what is the issue? Then the issue is that we have reserved more memory than we need, right? Memory which could have been allotted to other needy applications, other needy programs. The other scenario is in which the number of elements that we need is more than 100. So in that case, we don't have enough space, right? We can't do our whole computation. So this issue of a static stack, so this is not very flexible. Now ideally what we would like is, we would like the stack to be dynamic, which means while the program is running, we can decide on the size. So the stack may have only 4 elements or 2 or 10 or 20 or 25, it depends. So therefore, in order to get that flexibility, we will be implementing a stack as a linked list. So in the previous lectures, we have seen this linked list data structure. So this consists of a set of nodes. Each node is like a block of memory that stores some data. So mostly that has been an integer data element, and then the second one element has been a pointer to the next node. So we have this bunch of nodes and they are connected to each other using pointers. So linked list of nodes linked with each other. And we saw in those programs that at runtime we could determine the size of the linked list, right? So if we need additional nodes, the user informs us at runtime, and then at runtime we call malloc. We allocate memory for the node, fit in the values, add the data value, establish the links, and so on. So similar kind of functionality we are looking for in the stack as well. So the goal for today is to implement the stack as a linked list. Okay. So various functions will need to be performed. One is push, of course, when we're adding an element. One is pop, when we're removing the top element. Delete, let's say when we want to delete a particular node from the stack. Right, so in that case the top will change. Print, when we want to print the contents of the stack. Okay, so maybe from top to bottom we can print. So if we have added 10, then 20, then 30, then 40, then when we print we'll get 40, 30, 20 and 10. Okay, and then there will be other functions also. So definitely we will need to keep track of the top node in the stack, so which we can easily perform using a pointer to the top node. Okay. So we need to keep track of this top node because push and pop, as we know, will be performed on the top node. Okay. Okay, so now I am on slide number 3. So we are seeing a picture here, right, doing some push and pop operations. So in part A of this diagram, we see that we've got 4 nodes, right, connected to each other. And so node, if you look from the right, node with data 10 is pointing to null, node with data 20 is pointing to node with data 10, node with data 30 is pointing to node with data 20, and node with data 40 is pointing to node with data 30. And in addition, we have top, right, which is a pointer, right, of data type struct node star, and that is pointing to the top node. So probably the sequence would have been push 10, right? So that means that reserve memory for a node, set the integer part as 10, set the pointer part as null. Push 20, right? Again reserve memory for a new node, set the 20 integer part as 20, and set the pointer part to point to node with data 10. So similarly we do 30 push and 40 push. So you can see at each stage the value of top will change. If you have no nodes, of course top is null. If you have one node, top will point to node with data 10, which means it will contain the starting memory location of node with data 10. And then when you add the second node, top will point to node with data 20. Adding third node, top will point to node with data 30, and adding the fourth node, top will point to node with data 40. So every time you are adding a new node, of course top is changing. That is intuitive. So now we see for the B part, push 50. So again, what will happen is the size of the stack will grow. So you'll see that size is growing at one end, the right side is sealed. Right, so 10 is pointing to node with 10 is pointing to null. So there are no operations at that side. Yeah. So adding 40 again, adding 50 again, we reserve memory, change top to point to 50, and then we also have to make node with 50 point to node with 40. Right. So again, these are some of the operations we have to do when we add. So we'll soon see that in the code. Now if we call pop 2 times, so the effect of that is calling pop once means now node with 50 has to be deleted, and node with 40 will be the new top. Right, so top will again change. And calling pop again means node with 40 data is deleted, and node with 30 data becomes a new top. Right, so we can easily get that effect, because for the node with data 30, what is the starting memory location? Right, the starting memory location is stored in the next pointer of node 40. So we just have to equate top with that, right? So in this way we can do our push and pop operations. So we will soon see all of them in the code. Okay, so now I am on slide number 4, where we start discussing the code for the program. Okay. So as with the previous programs, the source code has been uploaded to both Moodle and also to Google Classroom. So please download it from there. So a basic concept is very simple. What we are attempting to do is very similar to the linked list examples that we have previously covered, right? So the only thing that we have to be careful of is that our additions and deletions both have to be done on the same end of the stack, on the top of the stack. Okay. So now let's start looking at the code. So C program to implement stack using a linked list. So your header file is stdio for our prints, stdlib standard library for our malloc, right? So whenever we have to reserve memory at runtime for our nodes, we have to use malloc, and what this malloc will do is return a reserve memory of the requested size, for which we use size of function, and then it will, if successful, it will return a pointer to the beginning of the block of memory, means the starting memory location of that block of memory. Okay. So if the memory allocation could not be successful, probably it could return something like null or anything which is guaranteed not to be a valid memory address. Okay, so our node definition is exactly same as before, nothing new here. Struct node, which means node is a structure, and individual nodes will be variables of this. So we know structure is a data type. So node will be the data type, and then individual nodes can be given names. They will be structure variables. So each node, what information will it have? Again, same as before, int info, right? Integer, and a struct node start pointer. So of course this is similar to next, and this is meant to point to the next element of the stack. So note that the way that the stack will grow and shrink will be a bit different here. So we have to focus on that part. Okay. And now what we have done is we have defined 3 pointers. So we know that when we want to define structure variables, we have 2 options. We can either define them in main, so saying like struct node start top in main, or struct node start temp in main, or we can define them within the structure definition itself. So here we have chosen the second option, defining them in the structure definition itself. So we define 3 pointers, right? Top, temp, and top 1. Okay, so we define 3 pointers, and they will be used in our functions. Okay. So note that these have been defined outside of any function. So which means they're sort of like global variables, and various functions can call them, whether it's main or and for that matter any other function in the program. Okay, so note that. So next we look at the definitions of our various functions. Int top element, so this will return the top element. So at any stage, we'll have a pointer pointing to the top node, and using that pointer we can use the arrow operator and get the info value, which is an integer, and we just return that. So that's what it will do. Small function. Add an element to top, void push int data. So this will add an element to the stack, to the top of the stack. So in this case, as you can guess, the value of top will change. Okay. Of course, the data has to be provided as a function argument int data. Void pop, remove an element. So no function argument here, because it's always clear that whenever we're popping, it's always the top element that comes off. So void pop. Okay. Void empty, check whether stack is empty. Right. So if the stack has even one element in it, even one node that is a part of it, this should return false. Otherwise, it should return true. Okay. So this kind of function, as we have used in the linked list, also can be used in other functions. So if you are printing, let's say printing the stack, for example, then first you can check if the stack is empty. So if it's empty, nothing to print. So you can do some error checking. Void display the stack elements. So if you have a stack, let's say 10, 20, 30, 40, it has to display the info components of all of them. So the way it will print is, it will print the top and then it will go down. So it will print 40, followed by 30, followed by 20, followed by 10. Okay, if the stack has these 4 elements in it. Okay. So note that stack is LIFO, last in first out. Right. So when we add in an order 10, 20, 30, 40. When we remove in the opposite order 40, 30, 20, 10. So that is display, destroy, void destroy, delete the entire stack. So here what we need to do is we need to visit one node of the stack at a time. So note that all the nodes will be linked together. So we visit one node at a time and we delete it and then move on to the next node, delete it, so on and so forth till the whole stack is empty. Void stack count, display number of elements. So whenever we add an element, we'll maintain an integer variable for the count, and this will simply print its or return its value or print its value. In this case, it's printing since the return type is void. Void create for initializing the stack. So here what we'll be doing is just creating an empty stack, and the initialization we do is empty stack, so no node in it. So we just set top as null. That's it. Int count is 0, of course. Count will refer to number of elements in the stack, has to be initialized to 0. Right. So now I am on slide number 5, where we start with the main function. So as you can see, what will happen in the program is when it starts executing, it will give a list of options. Each option referring to an operation that can be performed on the stack. So it will mention 1 for push, 2 for pop, 3 for top, 4 for empty, 5 for exit, and then 6 for display, 7 for stack count, 8 for destroy stack. So it will print all of these so that now the user knows what they have to, which choice they have to enter. So eventually they'll enter a choice, and then based on that choice, that function will be called. Okay. So after these 8 printfs, we'll do create. So what this create will do, we'll soon see, is it will just set the top value to null. So that's it. Other values you're seeing, some other variables, int ch, that is for the choice, and then no and e. So e is going to be used for grabbing the top element, right, in one of the cases, okay, which is when we are case number 3 for top. So for case number 3, when we want the top element, we will be calling the top element function, and then the value that it returns will be assigned to e. So that is what it's for. Okay, and the third one is no. So no is used as an argument to push. Okay. So of course, whenever we call push, we have to specify the element that we want to push, the element that we want to add. So that is what no will signify. Okay. So next we have while 1. So while true, this will be perennially true until we get out of this. So printf, enter choice, and then scanf. So this is an example we're using of scanf. So here whatever value we provide, we have to provide between 1 and 8. Okay. So Again, we have to be careful in our code that if the user enters something which is not between 1 to 8, then we can print a message saying wrong choice, please enter the correct value. Okay. So they enter the choice, and then that gets assigned to ch, and the ampersand means that the reference for that is passed. Okay. So whenever you have a variable, you can get a reference to that variable using ampersand. So the effect will be here that whatever the user enters, it will be assigned to ch. And now what will happen, as you can guess, we will be using a switch with the ch as a value to check. So we'll see what ch is. If it's 1, then the case 1 will execute. If it's 2, case 2, and so on and so forth for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. If it's neither of these, then the default, which is wrong choice, please enter correct choice, will be executed. So we'll essentially be doing a switch on ch. Okay. So now I am on slide number 6, where we are going to be discussing our switch statement. So you can see here we discuss 4 cases 1, 2, 3, and 4. So as we saw in the last slide, a printf will be executed asking the user to enter their choice, and then they'll enter a choice between 1 and 8. What each choice signifies will also be told to them. For example, 1 is for push, 2 is for pop, and so on. And then whatever choice they enter will get assigned to ch, variable ch, which is an int. Okay. So then depending on what they enter, as you can guess, the relevant functions will be called. So if they enter 1, case 1, then push will be called. So before that, we will ask the users what integer they want to push. So enter data, scanf, enter no, and then push no. And then we have a break. Why? Because if you recall, what happens is by default, the while a case is being executed in a switch, the execution, in the absence of a break, it automatically falls off to the next case. So which means after executing case 1 without the break, the execution will automatically go to case 2, which in this case or in this example we do not want, because if case 1 is true, if case 1 is executed, it means we want to do push. So now do we want to execute the remaining cases, 2, 3, 4, any one of them? We do not, right? So therefore we have to break from this switch. So therefore what you will observe is a break after each of the cases. So to ensure that after case 1, if case 1 is satisfied, cases 2, 3, 4, 5 are not executed. If case 2 is satisfied, cases 3, 4, 5, 6 are not executed. If case 3 is satisfied, cases 4, 5, 6 are not executed, and so on. Okay, so we scanf, and then we call push with no as the input. So we'll soon see the code for that. The effect should be, it should add that element to the stack. So which means that we'll need to create a new node, right? We'll need to add this no to that. We'll access all nodes using pointers, and then we have to create the appropriate links as well. So we will soon look at the source code for that. Case 2, if they enter 2, it means pop. So we'll call the pop function. The effect of this will be remove the top. So delete that top, and then the next new top will be, because top will change, the next element in the stack. So if we have 10 followed by 20 followed by 30 followed by 40, top is 40. So doing a pop, we remove the 40, remove that node actually, and now the new top will be node with 30 as the integer value, 30 as info value. Okay. So we call pop and we break. Case 3, if you see, is for top, so giving the top element. So here we do some error checking. We may call the empty function, which I think in this case they are not doing. So, or what we can do is we just check the top. So if top is null, we say no elements in the stack. So if you see in the previous slide, right after those bunch of printfs and before the while one, we are calling create. Right. So right after those 8 printfs and just before the while one, we call create, and what create will do is set top equal to null. So it checks if top is equal to null. So double equal to, of course, we print no element in stack. Else we execute the top element function, code of which we'll soon see. That will return the info part of the top node, assign it to E, and then we just print E. Top element is E, okay, and then we break. Okay. Case 4. So 4 is for calling empty, right? So what this will do is let's see, empty. Yeah. So what this will check whether the stack is empty or not. So it's very simple. It will check the value of top. If top is null, it will print stack is empty. If top is not null, which means it has at least one element in it, it will print stack not empty. And moreover, it will also tell us how many elements are in the stack, which means it will also print the value of count. Okay. So in every time we are adding an element, we increase count by 1. Every time we are reducing an element, we decrease count by 1. Okay. So empty and then break. So these are the 4 cases. Okay. Okay, so now I am on slide number 7. So now we are discussing the rest of the pending cases of the switch. Case 5. So if we see 5 signifies exit. So we know that while is always true. So if you want to exit from the program, we have to type 5. So what will 5 do? You can see it's calling exit with the argument of 0. So what is this? Exit function? Right. So exit as such is a function which causes a normal process termination. Okay. So in this case, so again, process is just another name for the program. Okay. So process is just another name for the program. So what this exit does is causes a normal process termination. It causes the running process, causes a running program to exit or end. Okay. So we just because it's a predefined function, we just make a call to that, and we're calling it with 0. So generally, the argument for exit is end status. So status, which is a data type of end, and the convention is, the rule is that a value of 0 signifies normal termination. So whenever a program is terminating, whenever a program is ending, it either ends normally or abnormally. Abnormally means due to some kind of error. So the rule is, or the convention is, value of 0 signifies termination is normal. In case the termination is abnormal or there is some error, then we can return a value of, let's say, -1 or something like that. Okay. So in this case, when we're causing 5, nothing has gone wrong, everything is going perfect. So therefore we pass a value of 0, and this value of 0 will be passed to the parent program, which in this case will be our C environment. So it can do anything it wants with it. So again, that is not in the scope of this. So for our discussion, we just know that we should just know that exit will cause the current program to terminate execution, and 0 means that the execution terminated normally without any errors. Okay. So for 5 we have exit. Now going to 6. What is case number 6? For display. So what display will do is it will walk through the stack and print all the elements. So note that the way it prints will be the same order in which it deletes them. Okay. So that means if you added 10 followed by 20 followed by 30 followed by 40, then it will print in the reverse order: 40, then 30, then 20, then 10. So essentially we have to walk through the stack. We have done this with the linked list, and the stack will be very similar. So because they're connected, and while on a node, if we look at the pointer part, we'll get the pointer to the next node. So we just follow that, we get the next node and we print the info value and then we go to the next and so on till we hit the null. So this is just to walk through the stack. Case 7, what is case 7? 7 is for stack count. So a very simple function which just tells us how many elements we have. So just printing count, that's it, nothing more. Case 8 is for destroy. So as you can guess, what this will do is delete the entire stack. So if we have 4 nodes, 10, 20, 30, 40, we have to delete all of them one by one. So we can start with the top, delete that, and then go to the next one, delete that, and we follow that chain. So again, walking through the stack, right, and deleting one node at a time. Okay. We do this till stack is empty, right? So we need to recognize when the stack will be empty. So we'll soon discuss the code for that. So those are the 8 cases. And what is the default case? So default case is when the user enters something which is not in the set of 1 to 8, right? So something like 9 or A or whatever. So in that case, we say printf wrong choice, please enter the correct choice. Okay. So wrong choice, please enter the correct choice. And then we get out of we break, which means we get out of the switch. Right. And then what happens is they'll get a chance to enter the correct choice one more time. And then again the switch will be executed, because note that all of this code is within while one. Okay. All of this, all the printf, the scanf, printf enter choice, scanf, ch, switch, all the cases, all this default, they're all within while one. So which means there's one and only one way of getting out of this while loop, and that is using the exit. There's no other way to get out. Okay. So if it comes to the default case, wrong choice, please enter the correct choice. Then what is going to happen is it will go back to the while, and again it will ask to enter the choice, and then based on ch it will again test with switch. Yeah, so I hope that part is clear. And finally return 0. So this is for the main, int main return 0. Okay. Okay, so we are now on slide number 8. So here we start discussing the functions one by one. Okay. So first is create, void create an empty stack, and as we had discussed, all this does is sets the top as null. So we know that the top is of data type struct node star, right? Struct node star top. So it's meant to point to the top node of the stack. And in the beginning, when we create a stack, how many nodes do we have? We have 0 nodes. So which means we just initialize the value of top, and good value to initialize is null, a null pointer. So void create top is null. Okay, so note where is this is executing? Right after the 8 printfs and just before while one. Okay. Next function is stack count. So this is again very simple, just essentially a one-line function. So here we are supposed to print the number of elements in the stack. Right. So every time we add, we increase the count by 1. Every time we pop or delete, decrease the count by 1. So at any given point of time, we want to print the count, void stack count. So print number of elements is %d count. So these two functions are quite simple. Okay. Okay. So now I am on slide number 9. So this has a picture which shows 2 key stack operations, push and pop. So these will correspond to the push and pop implementation, the source code. So which is on the next slide. So what you can do is you can also look at the code in a separate window. Okay. So first let's discuss push. So what will happen is every time we call push, we specify the integer that we want to add, the info value. And what we will do is we make a distinction based on whether the element we are pushing is the first element or not. First element to be added or not. Because we have to handle both cases separately. So here what we have is we have called push 10. Okay, so what this will do is because this is the first node to be added, the value of current value of top before adding this node will be what? It will be null. So inside push, if you see the code for that, it says if top is equal to null. It means if we are adding the first element, then you can easily guess what we'll do. We'll first reserve memory enough which is sufficient for storing one node. So we say malloc size of struct node, right? And then we cast it to struct node star, and then we assign that to top. So now top contains a starting memory location of that block of memory capable of storing the first node. And now we just fill the values top arrow info. So top is a pointer to that node. So we can use the arrow for accessing the individual members. Top arrow info is data, right? So data, you see, is what we specify as a function argument in push. So in this case it will be 10. So top arrow info is 10, which installs 10 in the info part of this node. And what will be the value of the pointer? So top arrow pointer PTR, of course it will be null. Okay. So that is how we'll add the first node. Okay. And of course count plus plus, count will now be 1. Now adding second node. Now when we call push again, this time with data equal to 20, again we check top, is it null or not? Of course not, it's non-null because it contains the starting memory location for node with info value 10. Okay. So if top is equal to null is not executed, the else part will, subsequent elements. So once again, as before, we reserve memory for capable of storing a node using malloc, return a pointer to it and then assign it to temp. So temp again is a public, is a global pointer of data type struct node star. So temp now will point to, so temp is struct node star malloc size of struct node. So temp will point to this beginning of the block which is meant to contain this new node. Okay. Now what are we going to do? Question is now what is the value of top? So the value of top is pointing to node with the data 10. Okay. So now what are the things we need to do? First of course we have to create a link with this and the node with data 10. So the way we do it is temp arrow PTR is equal to top. So what is temp arrow PTR? That is the value of the PTR component of node with info 20. Okay, so it is meant to contain this memory address. And what do we equate it with? We equate it with top. So which means that if the starting memory location of node with info 10 is 100, now temp arrow PTR will be equal to 100. So essentially now node with info 20 points to node with info 10. Okay, temp arrow PTR equal to top. What is the next line of code? Temp arrow info equal to data. Of course we have to put 20 in the new node. So temp arrow info is data. And what is the last thing we do? As you can guess, we have to change the value of top. So this node with info equal to 20 of course becomes a new top. So what we do is top is temp. Okay. So that's what it shows in part B. Now top is not pointing to node with 10, it's pointing to node with 20. So likewise we can call as many times, we can call this push, calling it for a third time. Again what happens is a push now in data equal to 30. Is top is equal to null? No, else what is executed. Reserve memory, a block of memory capable of storing a node, right? Copy to temp, so now temp points to that. Now temp PTR equal to top. So top right now points to node with info 20. So temp arrow PTR equal to top. So now node with the info 30 points to node with info 20. Temp info data. So value of 30 is installed and top is temp. So now the new top is node with info 30. So like this you can see one end of the stack is closed. So that end is the one with node 10, and all the nodes that we push, all the nodes that we add are added at the other end. Okay. So after this code is executed, we'll have a stack of 3 elements, and the top element will be the node with value 30. Okay. So in all cases, whenever we add a node, count will be incremented by 1. Okay. So I hope that now the push part of this is clear. Okay. Second shows the pop, right? So in pop, essentially all we need to do is delete the top node, and then the next node which we have in our chain becomes a new top. Okay, so that's simple. So we look at the pop code. What is it? So now we have another pointer, we'll need it, top 1, again a global pointer, and we say top 1. So now we're looking at the code for void pop. So we say top 1 equal to top. So which means now top 1 is for this stack, top 1 is just like top, it's also pointing to the node with info 30, correct? So now we say for when we are popping, we check whether top is null or not. So because if top is null, there's no need to do a pop. So we say if top is null, printf error cannot remove from empty stack, return. Else, if the array has at least one element, in this case, in our case we have 3, so we execute the else part. Top is top arrow pointer. So of course you have to change the top. What is the top now going to be? After we delete node with info 30, new top will be the node with info 20. So how do we get to the node with info 20? We need its memory location. So what is the starting memory location of the node with info 20? It is contained in the PTR component of current top node with info 30. So we say top is equal to top arrow PTR. So top arrow PTR will give us starting memory location of node with info 20, and that becomes the new top. Okay. And now as you can guess, what we have to do is free top 1. Right. So this is how we deleted an element in the linked list also. Free top 1 means delete the block of memory which is pointed to by pointer top 1. Okay. And then of course we're also, before we free the node, before we delete node, we say printf pop value is top 1 info. So before we're deleting a node, we're actually printing or informing the user which node is going to be deleted. So top 1 arrow info, which means in this case, what we'll get is pop value is equal to 30. Okay, and then free top 1. So now we have a 2 element array, and like this we can call keep on calling pop. Another case which we look at, when we have an array or a stack of 1 element. So in this case, top is pointing to info with 10. So that is case B on the right. Top is pointing to node with info 10. So now we call pop. What happens? Top 1 is top. So top 1 is also pointing to node with info 10. Right? Is top null? No. We have a single node, so top is not null. So else part executes. Top is top arrow pointer. So what is top arrow pointer? The value of PTR component for node with info 10. And what is that? Null. So what we get is now top is equal to null, as it shows. And now we printf pop values top 1 arrow info, which will give us pop value equal to 10, and then free top 1. So node with 10 is deleted. Count minus minus, count is 0. And now if we call pop the next time, now top is equal to null will be true. So now because stack is empty, nothing to pop. So I hope now that this pop operation is also clear. Just a matter of deleting the top node and changing the top value to the next node. Yes, so now I'm on slide 10, which talks about the source code for push. Okay. So on the last slide, we saw in a picture how the push operation happens. So again, we distinguish between the two cases, whether we are the node that we are adding, whether it's the first node or whether it's not the first node. So we handle both of them differently. So if it's the first node, then top will be null. We reserve memory for it, make top point to it, set the info as data and set the pointer as null. For subsequent elements, we reserve the block of memory, make temp point to it, right? And temp arrow PTR is equal to top. So because every time you add a node, right? Every time you add a node, you have to create a link with of that node with the previous node, right? So this temp arrow PTR equal to top is going to do that. Because we have not changed the top value yet, so the top value is still the memory location of the previous node, right? So we create a link, temp arrow PTR is top, temp info equal to data, in the new node that we add, fill the info, and then of course the new node that we add will be the new top, so top is temp, and count plus plus. Okay, so this is the code for push. Okay, so now I am on slide 11, and as you can see in slide 11, we are going to discuss two more functions, display and destroy. Okay. So display is just a walk across the stack and printing elements. So in the current picture, you see a stack with 3 elements. First we added 10, push 10, then we push 20, then we push 30. So the way we will print is, we'll first print 30, then we'll print 20, then we'll print 10. So this is similar to walking across a linked list. So which we can easily do because the links are already present. So of course what we'll do is, intuitively we will start with the top node of the stack. We will print its info value, and then we will access its pointer value, which will take us to the next node, right? We will go there and then we'll print the info, then we'll examine the pointer value, which will take us to the third node, again go print the info, and then visit the next node. So eventually we will hit null, because the value of null would mean that the node that we have just visited, it's the last node. So that's how we'll know how to stop walking, how to stop this traversals. Okay. So this picture shows us initially we have we have top, right? So start top pointing to the node with the info 30. So let's see, we call display. So now because we don't want to change the top value, so we'll need the help of another pointer, which in this case is top 1. So for void display, the first line of code is top 1 equal to top. So now top 1 will be pointing to the node with the info 30. So because we don't want to change the value of top at any point of time. So we'll use top 1 to walk across the stack. So top 1 is top, which means top 1 also, like top, contains the starting memory location of this node. So at any time, if you want to print the starting memory location of a node, you can easily do it by using the star p option in printf. So star p is meant for printing pointers, for printing addresses. So you can do something like printf star p, top, or printf star p top 1. So feel free to do that in your program. So now top 1 also points to the first or the top node. Now again, while we are displaying, we can again check for whether the node is, or whether the stack is empty or not. Because if the stack is empty, nothing to display. So the next line of code says, if top is null, printf stack is empty. Okay. If not, then we move ahead and we go to the while loop. So while top 1 is not equal to null, right? printf percentage d top one arrow info. Top one is top one arrow PTR. So it's quite simple. So initially top one points to the first node to the left with info 30. So is it null? Of course it's not null. We have a valid memory address in top one, right? That's guaranteed. So we printf top one arrow info, which will print 30. And then top one is top one arrow PTR. So top one arrow PTR will contain the starting memory location of node with info 20. So it becomes a new top one, and now the fact is top one points to the node with info 20. Again, top one is not null. Printf top one arrow info, printf 20. Top one is top one arrow PTR. Top one arrow PTR now is starting memory location of node with info 10. So now top one points to node with info 10. Still not null. So print top one arrow info, print 10. Top one is top one arrow PTR. This time top one arrow PTR is null. So now while top one not equal to null will be false, and we will get out of this display. So we will display 30, then 20, then 10. Okay. So I hope the display is clear. Moving on to destroy. So here intuitively think about it. What do we need to do? We need to visit the nodes. We can start with the top, and every time we visit a node, we have to delete it. Okay. So we start with the top, right? And now the value of top will change. It will point to the next node, and then the previous node will be deleted. So once again, for this operation, we need another pointer, which top one is what we're going to use for that. So we're talking about destroy. So look at the code for destroy. While top one is not equal to null, because that's our halting condition. Because if top is equal to null, so while top not equal to null, right, is in the while loop. Because if top is equal to null, it means no more nodes, nothing left to destroy, no node left to destroy. So initially top is not null, right? In this case, it's pointing to the node with info 30. So then top one is equal to top. Top one also points to node with info 30. Top changes. Top is top arrow PTR. Effect is now top points to node with 20, value 20. Top one points to node with value 30. So now that we've done that, free top one. So now we have two nodes. Top pointing to node 20. Again, is top null? No. So top one equal to top. Top one also points to 20, right? And now top is top arrow PTR. Now top points to 10, and we free top one. So now we have a single node. Top is pointing to that. Top is null. It's not. Top one is top. Top one, like top, also points to node 10. Top is top arrow PTR. Top arrow PTR is now null. So top is null, right? And free top one. And now when we do top is not equal to null, it's false, because null is not equal to null. It's false because they're equal. So we get out of destroy. So again, very simple. We have to, at each stage, we look at the top node, we visit the top node, and then eventually we have to delete it. So what we do is, first we modify top so that it points to the next node in the stack, and then we delete the previous node. So for that, of course, we need these two pointers, top and top one. Okay. So I hope now this destroy function would also be clear. Okay. All right. So now I am on slide 12, and you can see slide number 12 shows the code for display, which we just talked about. Right. So top one is top. If top is equal to null, stack empty. Right. While top one is not equal to null, printf top one arrow info. Top one is top one arrow PTR. So this is very similar to displaying all the nodes in a linked list. Okay. So I hope this display part is clear. So once again, we're using top one because we don't really want to move the top around. Okay. So that's the code for display. Now I'm on slide 13, and as you can see, slide 13 shows a pop operation. Right. So what we did in pop was remove the top node, and then before that change top to point to the next node. Right. So top one is equal to top. If top is null, error cannot remove from empty stack. This is error checking. Right. Else top is top arrow PTR. So make now if you're going to be deleting the current top, value of top will change. Now change it to the next node. Right. And then print the value you're going to pop off, top one arrow info. Top one is still pointing to the previous node, free top one, and then keep on doing that till you get top equal to null. Okay, so in the previous one of the previous pictures we looked at this in detail, and of course every time you pop, count will be reduced by 1. So main idea over here is given a stack, main idea for deletion is change the value of top so that now it points to the next node, and use top one to point to the previous node, and then free top one. That's a general idea. Okay, so now I am on slide 14, and these are pretty basic functions. One is for printing the or returning the top element. Right, so let's look at that. So when we want to return the top element, that's very easy. At any point of time in the life cycle of a stack, we always have top pointing to the top node, right? So start top pointing to the top node in the stack. So what we just need to do in this case is return the info part of that node, so which we can access using top arrow info. So return top arrow info. Okay. So it's an integer, so that's why it's int top element. Second function is to check if the stack is empty or not. So if the stack is empty, top is null, right? No nodes in it. Else, if a top is not null, which means top contains a memory location, well, it means we have at least one node in the stack, and we say stack is not empty. And in addition to that, we also print the value of count, which will tell us how many elements we have in the stack. So print of count. Okay. So these are the functions: top element and empty. Right, now I am on slide 15, and this is the last function that we have, void destroy. Okay. Right, so we've discussed this in one of the previous pictures. So what is the idea of this function destroy? Idea is to get rid of all the nodes in the stack. Right. So what we can do is, how can we accomplish this? So the input is stack with a set of nodes and pointer pointing to the top of the stack, which is start top. Right. So what we do is we delete one at a time. So how do we know when we have to stop deleting? So we keep on every time before we delete a particular node or the current top node, we check the value of top. If the value of top has a memory address, and which means that it is non-null, we go ahead with the deletion of the top node. Eventually, if the top contains null, then we stop deleting. So the idea is at any given point we are always pointing to the top node. So we delete that top node, and then of course the next node becomes a top. Then we delete that. Then the next node becomes a top. Then we delete that. So one node at a time, always deleting the top until we are left with no nodes. Okay. So void destroy, how does it look like? While top is not equal to null, top one is top, right? Because when we call free, we have to call it with the appropriate pointer. So free, the block of memory being pointed to by this pointer. Okay, so we'll use top one for that. Okay, So we can't use free top because a top has to point to the next element in the stack. Okay, so we still need that top. So what you do is top one is equal to top, right? So let's say both top and top one point to info 30. Now top is top arrow PTR, so which means top will now contain the starting memory address of node with info 20, right? And that will be the new top with the effect that now top is pointing to second node with info 20 and free top one. So now we have an array of 20. I'm sorry, a stack of two nodes, 20 and 10, and like this we keep on going. Both top and top one point to 20. Top is top arrow PTR, now top points to 10. Free top one, get rid of the node with the info 20. Now we have one node, both top and top one point to that node with the info 10. Right, top is top arrow PTR, new value of top is null. Free top one, get rid of node with 10. Now top is null, so null not equal to null is false, and we get out of the while, right? And we say printf all stack elements destroyed, and of course the right thing to do is set the count as 0. Okay, so this is the destroy function. Hope it's clear. Okay.